My name is David, and I have the honor of being Chatan Torah this year. I'm just going to say thank you. It's about audience participation. I'm only going to say a few brief words as a Devar Torah, and I have to give credit to Jeff and Mr. Goldstein for their help in me writing this Devar Torah. If it wasn't for the fact that Jeff and Mr. Goldstein don't get on very well as cats, there are two cats, by the way, and they woke me up at 3:30 this morning. Mr. Goldstein's an occasional visitor in the house. Came in, Jeff was asleep on the bed with me, and Jeff heard him come in, they went down, they had a fight, they woke me up, and at 5:45 this morning I got back to sleep. But in the meantime, I managed to practice a little bit of this very challenging reading because there are no vowels in here. I just want to make sure the guests are aware. Yeah. It's not that I'm rubbish, it's hard.
So if you spot any mistakes...
Yes. It got me to thinking about what I was going to say. And actually, the rabbi has alluded to one of my comments, or to my main piece. This piece around continuity. Obviously, we recently lost Queen Elizabeth II after 70 years reigning over us. And that got me to thinking as to how long did Moses reign over us? Well, we know Moses spent 40 years in the desert, so at least 40. I then spent about an hour, half asleep, watching BBC News, because there isn't really anything else on at 4 a.m, trying to work out how long, what point did Moses turn up to lead the children of Israel out of Egypt. And there's a lot of different stuff, but I'm going to give you the simple version. There are 3 bits of Moses' life. The wilderness bit, the speaking to your Pharaoh bit, and the growing up as a prince bit. 40, 40, 40. So Moses, some say, was there for 80 years. The Queen for 70, Moses for 80. So there was a lady who asked a question earlier about Moses not getting into the Promised Land. Why did Moses not get into the Promised Land? Because Moses sinned. One of the things I love about Judaism is that every single one of our leaders, me included, is flawed, apart from that bit. All of our leaders are flawed. Every one of them. You look back and not single one. My namesake, King David, was he flawed. I mean, I won't, because there are children here, I won't go into the detail. But he was a severely flawed individual. And yet, the Messiah will come from the Davidic line, not me. All right, and that really resonates for me as all of us who take on leadership roles, that in Judaism, you are not expected to be a saint. And I use the word deliberately, okay? And that got me to thinking, Queen Elizabeth, who is like my kind of Moses for this story, was Queen Elizabeth flawed? And I think the greatest mistake that she refers to was the Aberfan disaster. For those who don't know, this was a Welsh coal mining village which got engulfed by a coal waste heap. Coal heap, which fell down and buried this village very tragically, including a school. And it took the Queen a few days before she actually went to visit. And she talks about that being one of her great regrets. And there are others we can pick on. I felt there's a real similarity between the life of an amazing leader who gave 70 years of public service for her country through her faith in God, and Moses, who gave 80 years of his life in public service to God. And what does Moses get as a thank you? For those of you who remember Bullseye, you'll remember that they would, if you didn't get through on the final round, they'd actually bring the speedboat on. Look at what you could have won. Take it away, lads. It's the ultimate sort of thing. But anyway, so for me, there's a lot between Moses and Elizabeth. I think there are a lot of Great comparisons there, especially that piece around public service. And the fact that they both gave of their time, even though the people they led sometimes were not really they were the easiest people to lead. I think Moses had it tougher. We know what it's like to lead Jews. But that was my thing. That's my Devar Torah. Okay, we're going to crack straight on.